Emily glared at me and said, "Thanks for quitting." I just stared back at her silently. "It's about cutting labor costs," she said. "We don't need someone like you who abuses overtime pay." Tom seemed happy about this too. A week later, I kept getting calls from the company. When I answered, the company president asked, "Who are you?" I laughed at his question and said, "I'm Lily Johnson. I'm 59 years old and have worked here for 37 years. Since I graduated from college, our company helps other businesses by handling their paperwork. We have experts in administrative tasks, social insurance, labor issues, and taxes. Many company presidents are too busy with sales to handle their own paperwork, so we take care of it for them." I work in the tax department. I got my qualifications for bookkeeping and tax accounting while I was in school, which is why I joined this company. I manage 45 clients, which keeps me very busy. Even though a part-timer helps with the accounting, I can't show any weakness because many of my clients have faced tough times, and I want to support them as best as I can. Today, I'm back at my computer again. I've been dealing with Tom and Emily's nasty harassment lately. Tom, who is 7 years younger than me, and recently became the head of the tax department, used to be just a regular colleague, but since his promotion 3 months ago, he started treating me poorly and speaking to me in a condescending way. "Lily, what are you doing? You've got some nerve slacking off during work hours," Tom said with a harsh tone. He was always either sarcastic or complaining. I was looking at documents for tax-saving strategies for our clients. Even when I replied, Tom didn't seem to care. "Just check the manual for that. Don't do anything unnecessary. And if you end up working overtime, don't expect to get paid for it," Tom said, glaring at me. Emily, who was with Tom, added, "Lily, you need to work more efficiently. At this rate, you'll never finish. That's why you're still just a regular employee." Emily laughed mockingly. I had actually been the first person offered the promotion to department head, but I turned it down. It would have meant more management work and less time with clients, which I didn't want. Tom and Emily didn't know about this internal offer. I told them I would complete my regular duties, but Tom and Emily's harassment didn't stop. "You're increasing overtime again. What a waste," Tom shouted. Emily sighed and said, "Your overtime is dragging down the whole tax department's performance." Yesterday, Tom left a bunch of client files on my desk with tight deadlines and then quickly left the office without any explanation. Emily followed him out, laughing. I was left with files, including some that were Emily's responsibility. I knew why Tom and Emily were harassing me. They wanted me to retire quickly. I have more experience and knowledge in taxation than Tom, so other tax department members come to me with their questions instead of him. Plus, Tom's unpleasant demeanor makes others avoid him. The only female employee who stays close to Tom is Emily. Tom seems to prefer younger women, and I think he wants me to retire, so he can't get other female employees to rely on him more. It's a shallow and unsettling thought. Emily is harassing me to gain Tom's favor. Since Tom evaluates the tax department's performance, Emily probably wants to undermine me to get a better evaluation for herself. I need to handle these tax declarations. I've been swamped with work, and it looks like I won't finish today's tasks either. If I try to claim overtime, Tom and Emily will complain, so I've resigned myself to working unpaid overtime. One day, I was unexpectedly called to the president's office. The company had recently changed presidents. The former president's son had taken over after his father suddenly fell ill. The new president was still getting to know the company. When I entered the president's office, I saw Tom and Emily there, both with unpleasant smirks on their faces. I quietly wondered why they were there. The president told me, "Lily, we need you to resign by the end of the month." "Excuse me, what do you mean?" I asked, feeling confused. The president said, "Tom and Emily reported that you've been overbilling for overtime. Other members of the tax department have about 15 hours of overtime per month, but you've already accumulated over 80 hours. Isn't that unusual? Tom and Emily have 0 overtime this month. Impressive, right?" The president looked at me sternly. The high overtime hours were because I was doing Tom and Emily's work. If I said it was Tom's instructions, it would look like I wasn't managing my time well. So, I just explained that I hadn't overbilled for overtime. It was simply that I couldn't finish my work in regular hours. The president sighed and said, "Undoubtful, but there's no evidence to prove it, so I won't investigate further. However, we can't keep someone who works that slowly, so I want you to resign." It seemed the president had already made up his mind about me leaving the company. After dedicating 37 years to my career, I was exhausted. No matter how much extra work I did, it was never appreciated. Instead, I ended up doing Tom and Emily's work too. "Okay, I understand. I resigned at the end of the month," I told the president. Tom and Emily looked very pleased as I left the president's office. Emily sneered at me, and Tom looked down on me as well. Tom said, "We're cutting labor costs. We don't need someone who takes advantage of overtime pay." He seemed satisfied with the situation. As I watched them, I started preparing the handover documents for my clients. I made sure to say goodbye to the people I was handing over to. I tried to arrange a meeting with the president to say goodbye in person, but couldn't manage it. Instead, I sent letters informing everyone of my successor. A week after my resignation, I was finally relaxing at home. I had been so busy with the handover process that I hadn't had time to rest. When my phone rang, I saw it was from the company. I wondered what they wanted now. Since I had already taken care of all the social insurance procedures, I didn't answer. However, the company kept calling, and I even received several calls from Tom and Emily's personal phones. They probably hoped I'd answer if it was from their numbers. Reluctantly, I decided to take a call. "Hello, Lily, it's MS right now," the president said as soon as I answered. I laughed at the president's words. "Who am I? Just an unemployed lady. I've resigned from the company and I'm nothing else." The president spoke urgently. "Since you left, we've had 49 calls requesting to stop transactions with the company. Please come back immediately." He hung up quickly, sounding very panicked. I didn't have much choice. I got up and reluctantly headed back to the company. When I arrived, Tom and Emily were waiting. Both looked pale and had dark circles under their eyes. "What's wrong with you two?" I asked, surprised by their appearance. Tom glared at me and said, "Since you left, we've been getting call after call to stop transactions not just from your clients, but also from potential companies we were planning to introduce. What did you do?" Emily looked at me with suspicion and said, "I never thought Lily would do something so underhanded." I'm truly disillusioned. I guessed that the cancellations were likely due to the fact that without me, clients were finding cheaper tax services elsewhere. I hadn't done anything to cause this directly, but it seemed the cancellations were inevitable. Tom yelled, "So you did do something, didn't you? Get to the president's office now." He then took me to the president's office. The president looked at me as Tom said, "I brought her." Emily followed closely behind. "I've been waiting," the president said, addressing me. "Tom and Emily claim you're responsible for the transaction cancellations. They suggest not only should you resign but also be sued for damages." Emily argued vigorously, though her tone was careful in front of the president. The president ignored them and asked me why so many companies had stopped transactions after I left. I took a deep breath and answered, "Don't you understand? Our clients don't need us to manage their taxes when there are cheaper tax accountant firms available. They stayed with us because I was here." Tom snapped, "What's with that attitude towards the president? Do you think you're that important?" Emily added, "There's no way it's not Lily's fault." The president looked serious as he addressed Tom and Emily. "Tom and Emily, you work according to the manual and focus on optimizing operations, but Lily does much more than that. She provides tailored tax-saving strategies that benefit our clients. Uniform responses don't always serve their best interests. Many clients preferred Lily's personalized approach and stayed because of it." Tom got angry. "How can we afford to give such detailed attention to each case? It takes too much time. It's inefficient." Emily agreed strongly. "That's right. It's not practical. The president sighed deeply. Actually, I just got off the phone with Dad, the former president. Some clients who stopped transactions had gone directly to him to negotiate about Lily. I was surprised that the clients went that far. That said that the tax department thrived because of Lily. She managed her clients well, supported her colleagues, and had knowledge that Tom couldn't match. He also mentioned that if Lily had accepted the promotion offer, she would have been in a higher position than the department had by now. Emily looked shocked. I can't believe Lily could have been my boss. The president continued, I'm really sorry for asking you to resign, but can we revoke your resignation? Lily, my father also strongly believes you're needed here. I was honestly pleased to hear the president's change of heart, but I hesitated to accept the offer. Tom interrupted, President, what do you mean she's better than me? I can't accept this. Tom was visibly upset. Emily also protested. Tom is a wonderful boss who cares for his subordinates. It's unacceptable to choose Lily over him. The president turned to Tom and Emily with a stern look. Since Lily resigned, we've received numerous complaints from the tax department. It seems you two have been pushing your work onto others. Tom, you've been making your subordinates handle your clients' declaration forms, including Emily's clients. There was even a leak that you called Lily a salary thief. Tom's face turned pale, and he looked flustered, unable to come up with an excuse. Emily trembled when her name was mentioned. The president's look of disgust was evident as he observed Tom and Emily growing increasingly pale. The president continued, there was also a leak about your relationship. You two were often seen leaving work together. Tom, you're married, aren't you? The president glared at Tom and Emily. Tom stammered, I was just mentoring Emily as her superior. There was nothing inappropriate. The president then produced several receipts from the accounting department. These dining expenses were filed by Tom. Who were these meals with, if not clients? Tom began sweating profusely and couldn't speak. Emily's face turned ghostly pale. The president said, Tom and Emily, you've neglected your duties, inflated expense claims, and had an affair despite being married. According to company policy, I'm terminating your employment effective today. The president spoke calmly and straightforwardly. Tom and Emily tried to resist. Please wait. I'll retract the expense claims. Just don't fire me, have a family. Tom pleaded desperately. Emily added, I don't want to be fired. I'll apologize to Lily and everyone for dumping work on them. She was on the verge of tears, clearly worried about her reputation. I advised, why don't you just stop resisting? It's undignified. Tom glared at me. Shut up. What would a single person like you understand? I sighed and replied, Tom, you were the one who got me fired. It's just karma. What goes around comes around. You should take some responsibility and reflect a bit. Tom looked frustrated, and Emily bit her lip. I said to the president with a smile, I haven't reported this yet, but there's more to Tom and Emily's misconduct. Should I share more details? Their behavior was well known in the tax department, and their stories had reached me. Both Tom and Emily frantically tried to stop me. Oh, please don't, Lily, they pleaded. I gave them an ultimatum. Wrongdoings eventually come to light. It would be better for you to face reality before it gets worse. At my words, both of them collapsed to their knees. Ultimately, Tom and Emily were fired on the spot. I exposed their wrongdoings, which included Tom pretending to go on business trips to spend days with Emily and harassing employees until they quit. I tried to help those employees, but Tom and Emily's tactics were sneaky. They would often give employees last-minute tasks with tight deadlines, making it hard for them to do their work. The employees who left asked me to stay quiet, but now that they are happily working elsewhere, I decided it was okay to speak up. The president was very angry when he heard about Tom and Emily's actions. He was upset about having to cut their final salaries and planned to investigate their past expense claims more thoroughly. Tom begged the president not to cut his salary, tearfully saying he didn't know how he would explain it to his family. Eventually, Tom's affair was revealed to his wife, and he got divorced. And now, Tom and Emily are facing claims for divorce compensation. Tom even contacted me for help, asking me to persuade the president to reconsider the firing. Tom and Emily are struggling to find new jobs because news of their misconduct spread quickly in the tax industry. They are now doing hard labor, like construction work, which is a big change from their previous office jobs. Emily often calls me crying, saying she wanted just a raise and a better life, and that she never really liked Tom. However, I told Emily that their situation was their own fault. Many people, including myself, were harmed by their actions, and now they have to face the consequences. I told her that she had to deal with the hardships she brought upon herself. Despite their troubles, I'm enjoying a relaxed lifestyle away from work. The president keeps asking me to return, but I've decided not to go back. After being told to resign once, I'm not interested in going back. Sometimes I help out at a friend's tax office to earn a bit of money. Eventually, I plan to start my own office where I can work as I see fit and focus fully on my clients. I want to be a tax accountant on equal terms with my clients, not as a teacher but as part of the service industry. My new chapter is just beginning, and I'm excited about exploring what comes next.